Hi there and welcome back to Thursdays with Annette. I'm so glad you're joining me. We're starting a new season of the show and I've got a great recipe for you today. I thought what would be like a super easy dessert, because we're getting into the colder weather now, that maybe you think maybe could be a bit hard to do. So today I'm going to show you it's probably the easiest recipe on the planet for a hot dessert, and it's called apple strudel. That's right, I'm using Phyllo pastry today. It's out of Simply Too Good to Be True #1. It's the oldie but a goodie, and this is the recipe we're going to be working on today. And this is a great recipe to serve for family or guests. It is just fabulous. So I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees because it's hot and quick. You want that Phyllo pastry crispy and fabulous. And I'm going to show you how to make it. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about Phyllo, how to work with it as we go along. And also some of the great recipes that I've actually used the Phyllo in, because I am obsessed with it. So first of all, this is the brand of Phyllo that you must use, okay? When I say must, it's because you don't want the frozen, because the frozen is really hard to work with. And this is where I think a lot of people have got that bad feeling about using Phyllo because they've used the frozen. This is the one we want. And I even say the brand in the recipes when I use the Phyllo pastry, because I believe in it so much. So that's the Phyllo pastry we're going to use for all my Phyllo recipes and for today. So we're going to make the apple strudel, so get ready. So we start with a can of apples. Hello, can it be any easier than that? Because I can't be bothered cooking fresh apples, but if you wanted to do that, you could. But what I suggest is you need it to be quite dry. See how this is there's not a lot of liquid in it, because the liquid will pour out of the strudel if it's too wet. So we started with the Nona. Now, I actually got to tell you that I really like the Woolies apple as well. It's sort of a bit more firmer than this one, but it's a strudel and it's perfect. So we're going to put in 1/4 cup of sultanas. Now, you don't have to put that in. My daughter Kelly does not like sultanas, so she probably wouldn't bother to do that, but I like it in a strudel. And we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. There we go. Now, one of the recipes that I have that's very similar to this is my Christmas strudel. And the difference of that one is that you use mixed spice instead of the cinnamon, and you put in the fruit mince that you use in the Christmas tarts, mince pies. And so it really gives it a good Christmassy flavour. But I'm telling you, why wait till Christmas to enjoy that one? I'd be having it as well if you like that minced flavours. So you're just mixing that together. This is the hard part. I'm telling you, it's so easy. So we've mixed the mix up. Now what we're going to do is do the Phyllo. Now, why I want to tell you a little bit later of some of the Phyllo pastry recipes I have, because I want you to be able to use what you've got in there and not waste your money. Because Phyllo would, if you put it back in there and put it in the fridge, it would last a good week or so if you seal it. So that's fine. But I say when I buy it, I normally make a couple of things with Phyllo that week, and that way I use it up. So I've preempted this by doing 8. So now this is the thing here, you use 8 sheets. So you just got to make sure you count them as you go. And it sounds a lot of pastry, but the Phyllo, as you'll see, is very, very thin. So be a bit gentle with it. There we go. And now we use our trusty cooking spray. This is my version of a beautiful low-fat option for you for strudel. And what you do, can you see how hard this is? Just put it on the top, spray, gently lift it over because it is very thin, as you can see. Place it on top, another spray. So basically this is what you do for 8 sheets. Now the traditional way, how you would do it, is you would melt a lot of butter and you get a brush and you'd go like this over every layer. So to me that's a really high fat way, and that's why strudel often is not included when you're losing weight because you think, oh no, it's too high in fat. But my weight is fabulous. So how are we going here? We've got a couple more to go. So you can see this isn't hard, so don't be frightened of using phyllo. It's just fantastic. I'm not big on making pastry, I don't know why, but I do favour the phyllo because it's just this easy. Now, I have preheated my oven, so I'm all good to go, and I'm going to spray my tray, and here we go. So we put the mixture in the middle and along because it's a strudel, so you want the shape of a strudel. Put that in the sink and you just move it along so it gets that shape. Now always keep a bit on the side because you want to fold it over and just sort of make sure it's fairly even, that everyone's getting their portion. There we go. Now what you do is you spray it again, fold it over, both sides. See, look, this is not hard to do, is it? And it's a perfect winter dessert, and it's, you know, one of those low fat recipes. I think it's like 0.7 grams of fat a serve. I know, it's fabulous. So now what you do is gently bring that over and just tighten it a bit. Just get that tight, roll it over. Now the fold side needs to go on the bottom. So we're going to lift that up, see that fold side, and put it down. I know, it's exciting. Do about 4 little air pockets. And then the last thing you want to do is do a teaspoon of sugar. Oh, and spray it, of course. Let me forget. A lot of spraying with this one. And the spray will then help keep the sugar on it as well. All right, so just sprinkle that over the top. Remember, your ovens are 200 degrees, so it's quite a hot oven. Now, we're going to put this in the oven. It's going to probably take about 30 to 35 minutes. And what I do, because my oven can be a little bit odd sometimes, I actually turn it halfway just because. So let's put this in the oven. I know, it's all done. And I'm going to put my timer on for 30. And there is a fabulous dessert. Now let me talk to you about phyllo for a minute, because even though it's not hard to work with, the way I do it with just a cooking spray, it will soften. When it comes out of the oven, it'll be crisp and fabulous for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then it will go soft. So what you do then is, if say you have some left over, like, you know, serve it pretty well once you've got it out of the oven and it'll be fantastic. But if you have some left over and it's gone soft, then you either put it back in the oven when you want it, or put it under the grill. Just be careful you don't burn it though, because the grill's quite hot. But it's a fantastic way to make pies and things like that. And I have so many pies in the book with it. Like, I've got my chicken and vegetable, my beef and vegetable in book 1. I do another strudel. Remember, there's the Christmas one, but I also do a pizza strudel. I know, it's in book 1 as well, which is what this one's in, and it's fantastic. It's all the pizza filling wrapped in phyllo. I mean, it is delicious. But you've got sausage rolls, and I find with the sausage rolls, because of the meat, the pastry doesn't go soft, so that works really well for parties. And go into book 4 as well, because there's a party section there and there's a few different ones using the phyllo in that as well. But the other pies that I've got a steak pie, a lamb pie, a seafood pie, like, they're all using the phyllo, and I even use the phyllo in little scrunches on my fancy chicken curry, just for something a bit fabulous. But you know, there's so many ways you can enjoy it. Like, I do the simple turnovers with the phyllo, that's in book 1 as well. Cheese and ham rolls, they're great as a lunch with a bit of salad. I also do the baskets, you know, where you can just make a basket and you can put fresh fruit in it. I often put strawberries romanette, which is in book 1, in that basket as a little dessert, and you can put savoury in it as well. One that Diane loves is the chicken pomodoro, which is in book 6, and that's a beautiful chicken wrapped in the phyllo. And in book 1 as well, no, book 2 is the chicken and mango bonbon. And yet you do is you shape the phyllo into like a shape of a bonbon. I use that for dinner parties and people think I'm a bit fabulous and clever. But you know, there's lots of ones. Another one actually that comes to mind is in book 6, and it's the spirals, the cheese, tomato and spinach spirals. Oh, they are divine. And also the bacon and egg baskets, which are just beautiful. So there's just a few that I've remembered off the top of my head. But what I would also say to you is, if you wanted to have a change from the apple strudel, you could put different fillings in it. You could drain berries, you know, the canned berries, drain it really well and mix that in with the apple. You could also use apricot, and just buy a can of apricot halves, drain it really well, and then just cut it into a few slices each one, and then you've got an apricot strudel as well. So how fabulous is that? Now, I'm going to show you the finished product because I made one just before we started, and oh, it's opened up a little bit, that'd be right, when I want to show you the best thing ever. So here it is. So there's the strudel cooked. Now get excited because this is enough for 6 people. And it's quite light though, because basically it's just the phyllo and the apple, so that's why it's so low in fat, and only 131 calories. So what I do is I normally cut it in the middle. I probably should have put it onto a plate to serve it. But what I'm going to do is just do, like you go 1, 2, so there's the third of the half, and then let me hold this because it's hot. Oh my gosh, look at this, fabulous. Oh, there's my strudel, which is amazing. I'm going to put a spoon with that, and do you know what I really love with it is the low-fat custard. So this is the one I like, the Paul's. I mean, you could make your own custard as well if you wanted. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Yes, hello, just remember 0.7 grams of fat, and it is what I call a guilt-free winter dessert. I'm going to pour a little bit of custard on there. I normally say the average serve for custard is about half a cup. And you'll have the nutritional breakdown on the side so you can work that into your calories. Now, if you want to win the book that has this recipe in it, remember it's book 1, what you've got to do is you've got to like, share, and in the comments, come on, you haven't forgotten, I hope, after these few weeks away, hashtag simply number 2 good. Hashtag simply with the number 2, remember the Y, simply 2 good. And I will pick 3 fabulous people to win a personally signed copy. Now, next week's show, I decided to be brave and I'm going to make some pastry. I mean, imagine, you know, I'm being brave here because I always think pastry is hard, but it's not. I'm going to show you how to make my fantastic mini quiches. And this is another fantastic way to enjoy something that would traditionally be quite high in fat. Quiche is normally based with cream and lots of bacon and eggs and whatever. So this is going to be a fantastic show next week where I show you how to make the pastry and how I do it. I think it's quite clever how I make these mini quiches, and they just are very, very popular with my family. Now, just remember that you can go in and watch this as many times as you like. Please spread the word, let people know about it. And if you're wondering about the origins of phyllo pastry, I checked it out, and you know, it is very Greek and also Middle Eastern to use the phyllo pastry, but I'm doing it the Annette Sim way. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, if you want any more tips or recipes, go to my website, simply2good.com.au, and I hope you enjoy your apple strudel. I mean, you know how easy it is to make. There it is. See you next week, guys. Bye.